So do you have like a phrase or a go-to technique or something if you're dealing with, let's say, an employee who's just not getting their head in the game? Do you have an approach that you usually start with and then maybe have to pivot later? Is there something like a go-to?
I ask a lot of questions, and so I will ask just kind of just fire rapid, just really, you know, why are we here? What are we doing? What are you doing? What were you thinking when you did this? And I just kind of find out what they're thinking,
Yeah.
and then bring them back to where I need them to be.
Okay.
Because and a lot of times what I do is what do you want? Why are you here? I'm here to ask this question. Why are you here?
Right.
Why'd you want to work here? Why'd you clock in? Let's first figure that out.
Right.
So I ask a lot of questions to try to figure out your purpose for being here, because all of that you're doing is related to this.
Like versus another job, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like, and so it's really, I say my car breaks down and I'm like, all right, well, step one, let me lift up the hood because my car's not working anymore. And
Yeah.
90% of the issue is going to be under here.
Right.
Lift up the hood. And then, all right, I think I found what the issue is. I'm not going to start naming stuff because I have no idea what's under the hood.
Right.
But I start seeing, okay, maybe it's this. What is this? And I start looking, and then we're 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and I am so invested in this that's not even related to the problem.
Right, yeah.
And it's like I found new passion into this, and it's like, don't get distracted. Remember, the goal is to fix whatever the issue is so that we can get back on the road and go to Disneyland.
Right.
That is the goal.
Right.
And so when you hit those roadblocks, keep it about the goal. Okay, you hit a roadblock. You have to stop. You have to kind of reconfigure.
Yeah.
But that is directly tied to where you were trying to go. And I think sometimes we stop, get comfortable, because I've done it.
Yeah.
And I'll get comfortable and I get sidetracked. And next thing you know, I'm reinvesting and I'm prioritizing this, because now we're talking about this and I'm getting in this.
Yeah.
And then we're 2, 3, 4, 5 days and I'm still talking about this.
Yeah.
And I've lost sight of, wait, I thought we were going here. And so it's trying to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate what doesn't need to be.
That's interesting. So for me, for you, like, you keep them focused, try not to get them distracted, right? For me, I sometimes I use a little bit of, you do the opposite, right? To where I do distract them. So, all right. So, back when I was a filmmaker, right? And you're directing, one really good technique for getting a good performance out of an actor is, actors will have a line of dialogue, right? And they'll ham it up or whatever, or it's like flat. It's not great. You give them something to do, something physical, right? So if they're in a scene in the kitchen, right? I wouldn't give them much direction on what they're talking about. You'd be like, okay, see all these dishes? I really want you to wash them. Like, don't pretend. Like, I want you to wash them, right? And like, see, and smudge it up. And this, I'm going to check this later. And over here, I'm going to make sure that this is clean. But you got to make sure that's done. So the whole time they're going through it, they're focusing so much on those dishes to where the dialogue they're supposed to be reading just comes out natural, right? So the way I kind of translate that to my students is they're so focused. Like I tell them, oh, that's going to get graded. Oh, you got to do something because it's got to get graded. I get them so focused on thinking about what's going to be graded and what they're going to get, that what I really want is just them to, to show participation, some effort. I want to see what comes out of them. It's not even really about the grade, right?
Yeah.
So because as long as they do something, I'm going to give them a good grade. But I get them off of like thinking about how they're feeling and what they're expressing.
Yeah.
And they're just thinking, oh, this assignment, I got to worry about the grade. They're so focused on that they don't realize that they're actually doing what I really want them to do, So I do the opposite.
It's the opposite. At the same time, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the same, but, I work in the restaurant industry, and servers often, they get so focused on the tips.
Right.
And they serve a table and all of a sudden they get gypped And it's like, oh, it was $100. They only gave me $2.
And they can't shake it
And
for
they
like
can't
the rest
shake
of the
it.
shift.
And I
yeah.
always tell servers, don't be the snail, right? A snail, you can always tell where a snail's been because they drag that slime everywhere.
And a slime trail.
Don't have that slime trail go from one table to another to another.
Right.
Dust it off, keep going. And I always have to break it down. Look, what are we here to do? Prioritize that.